Ain't a Podcast. I want to thank you guys for joining me this Tuesday, like you guys do every Tuesday. We have an amazing show in store for you today. We are discussing lupus. It is a very common disease, and I am really excited to talk about this with you guys. I've had my own share of experiences with it, but we're not going to go too deep yet. First things first, you guys know the routine. You got to give me something that you're grateful for, and I'll kick it off. So I am grateful for, I'm sorry, I'm super uncomfortable. Drop in my comment section something that you're grateful for. That's the ritual when we have every show. Sometimes we get so caught up in the things that we want or we don't have that we forget to be thankful and grateful for what we do have. So that's how we start off every show. So today I am grateful for I'm going through like a real mindset shift. Like I feel like I've just recently physically started changing the habits and things that I do, and now I'm mentally addressing it. And I feel like it might have been easier if I did the other way around, but whatever, So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to be mentally challenging myself to address situations different and to make better habits. Someone said I'm grateful for my lupus warrior support group. Gotta be grateful for people around you that support you and understand what you're going through. I love that. Now you guys are all joining. What are they? Sure. Make sure you guys are following us on all social media platforms. You can follow Let's Talk the Show on all social media platforms. You name it, we got it. Pinterest, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. You guys are already on our Instagram. If you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you click the link in the bio. They have so much spit in my mouth. Make sure you click the link in the bio and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You guys can also follow me, Cherrell Carter, on Facebook at Cherrell Carter. That's my government. Or you can find me on any social media platform at Miss_Carter_1X. Yeah. Oh, and while you guys are here, make sure you share this live with 3 friends. The best way to spread news about great things that you love, great shows, Black-owned businesses, is to share them. So hit that little arrow in your lower right corner and share it with 3 friends. Someone said, I'm grateful for my lupus work with my mom. I love, you gotta be grateful for moms. So yeah, like I said, today we have an amazing show. I'm joined by an amazing young woman. The youth is like, you just gotta love them, okay? And what else I wanted to say? I'm out of breath, so my minds keep forget what I want to say, but whatever. Without further ado, let's get our special guest joined on here tonight. Make sure you guys share this live with 3 friends. Lupus awareness today, guys. I'm so excited. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Okay, so the ritual is when you join the show, you got to give us something that you're grateful for.
I am definitely grateful for the support that I've received from my friends and family.
I like that. So, a brief introduction, guys. We have Maya Jones. Maya, you are a recent high school graduate. You also are the podcast host of Talk with MJ,
yes.
Right? And you've been accepted to, I think I counted like well over 10 colleges this year, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And this HBCU guys, she has HBCUs in her acceptance thing. I saw that too. Like, I'm jealous I didn't get to go to one. So whenever I see the signs, I'm like, okay, so today we're going to be discussing, I'm helping you, or you're helping me, we're helping each other bring awareness to lupus. And for those that don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Maya, lupus is an autoimmune disease where basically your body just attacks itself, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so Maya, tell me a little bit about your story. You do have lupus, correct?
Yes, I was first in the hospital my freshman year of high school. And it was around November. I'm a very active person. I like being active. And one day I was just really, really tired, and weeks went by and I was just still feeling my energy really low. I had a regular doctor appointment and they did my blood work, and they were really, really nervous. And they said, I need you to go to the nearest hospital. And they said something's wrong with my blood. We went to the nearest hospital. We went there. They said, I need you to go to St. Jude. And St. Jude, as you know, is a cancer hospital.
Right.
Hospital. And so my mom used to work there. So she was really, really nervous and anxious. And I was like, oh, nothing's wrong. because at the time I was a lead in a musical, and so I had practice right after school, and so I was being out of school for that day, and I needed to get back so I could continue to work. And I was there all day. Found to come out that my platelets were low, and platelets are what help you produce blood, and it keeps you from bleeding out. It helps
make them clot.
Right. And from there, I became a regular patient at St. Jude. Doctors told me that it's possible I may have lupus, but they didn't diagnose me until 2 years later, my junior year. And here I am today, still with lupus. And I decided to start advocation on my TikTok page last September.
Wow, that's there's a lot of things that go through your mind in high school, and having lupus isn't one of them. Do you remember what that moment was like when you found out, like, you have lupus?
It was scary, but it was more so for me. At the moment, I was going through a lot of emotions, especially because I was the lead in a musical, and I ended up having to pull out from that.
Wow.
But I didn't inform them of everything that was wrong with me. But from just saying that, hey, I'm sick and I'm not feeling my best and I have to pull out at the last minute, I received a lot of backlash. I was going through a really rough time because I felt I was losing friends, theater friends that I had known for a while that I was beginning to become closer with. It was just a lot of backlash from having to pull out. And from there, I kind of just pushed it to the side and didn't do much unless I needed to. But I was a dancer at a ballet studio called Ballet Memphis for about 10 years. And it was really taking a toll on my health physically. Lupus can affect things like joints, lungs, and that's what it's hard for me. So I ended up having to start to sit out some rehearsals because I couldn't catch my breath.
Wow.
And I was beginning to start point work, but the doctors didn't really want me doing it because it was really going to take a toll on my feet, especially my ankles, and they were already bad enough. So I ended up leaving ballet, which is something I really did love, but for my health, I could not do it as often and as hard as I was training. So.
Wow, that is a lot. That takes I remember in high school, and I remember my friends being borderline like the center of my world outside of sports. I did volleyball in high school. And so I remember, I loved volleyball. That was like the center of my world next to my friends. And I don't know if I could be as courageous as you and triumph through that if I would have lost my friends and the things that I love. When you finally did decide to come out, what was the reaction from your friends?
They were mostly.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to say come out. Like, she wasn't gay, guys. I don't know if you're gay, but she, it's not her coming out story. When you did, decide to tell, what was that like?
It wasn't bad and it wasn't good. It was a good reaction from my friends. Some of them, would continue to ask me questions, which I truly appreciate. But some of them, because I look, with the autoimmune disease, you look healthy. You look like there's nothing wrong. But then you have all these problems on the inside, like fatigue. Like, oh, you just need, a nap and you're good, which isn't the case. And so I had to begin to educate them. And that's when I decided to take it to social media, because a lot of people aren't truly aware of what it means to have an autoimmune disease.
Right.
But with teachers, it was really hard in high school.
How so?
I would say that if I was having a really bad flare-up day and I just was not feeling my best, I would say, hey, can I have an extension? Because I know that I can give you 10% more than what I'm giving you.
Right.
And they would say, okay, take a day. A day is not enough for me. Can I get a few days or, a week so I can give you my best work? But it was really hard to connect with them. I had those that would communicate very well with me and try to understand, but a lot of teachers kind of just pushed it to the side and said, it's not much wrong with you. So.
Wow. And how does that make you feel when people are just dismissive because you physically at the time, or maybe you're not having a flare up or you don't have the patches? How does that make you feel?
I still have that today, even with family, because my lupus is not as bad as somebody else's. I'm not always in the hospital, but it doesn't mean that I still don't have bad days. I may not tell you I'm bad day, but don't make the assumption that I'm completely okay when on the inside I'm really not. And if I was okay, I wouldn't have an illness. So
Right.
it can be hard sometimes. It can really bring down your energy, but it's really good to have things like a support group, which I'm really happy that I started, to be, you know, be around you and support you and know exactly how.
When you I 100% agree. That is super important to have people that are supportive around you and that understand. You know, do you remember the first time you met someone like outside of your friend group that had lupus, or that?
I actually didn't meet anybody with lupus. I knew I wanted to start a support group because I really wanted to find people. And Selena Gomez is a celebrity that has it. And there are a lot of videos of her on TikTok. I ended up coming across one of her makeup videos and her hands were shaking. And it was a
Wow.
lot of comments about, you know, she has an illness. And I saw a lot of youth commenting, I know exactly how she feels. So I just started recruiting and said, hey, I found you commented on this video. I really want to bring you in and I want to start a support group. And at the time I had, from maybe a month, I had 12. Right now I'm currently about 46 members. So
Yeah.
it's really grown. It really has. It's getting hard to keep up with, but I'm so happy we get a new member almost every day.
That is amazing. That is amazing. This story just goes from, oh, it's kind of sad, and it's just like every time I ask you another question, there's a better answer, it's happier more, and it's just like going up and up and up. And I'm so happy to hear that. You're getting a lot of love in the comment section. Someone's saying, yes, Maya, we need more episode with Maya Jones. I'm so proud of you for coming out and sharing your story. Go Maya, go Maya. Okay, they are in here rooting for you, Maya. They're so excited. Okay, so you start your support group. You know, you obviously had issues with teachers and friends. You've lost friends. Um, why is it so important for you to bring awareness about lupus? And we're gonna talk more about exactly what lupus is, and like you posted celebrities, but why is it so important for you to bring awareness?
I want to because for me, it is not rare. It's just rare in the publicity eye. You will always hear about cancer.
Yeah,
You will always hear about sometimes sick people of color, but it does not get any kind of attention. So that's my main thing that I want to do. Bring attention to something that is so out there. It's always been here, but it's just really hard to connect with it because it's not in the publicity eye. So that was my biggest point. And I really want, especially in college, because I am about to be a college freshman.
you are.
I really want teachers and not teachers, professors to really try to have an open mind when a lupus patient is coming in and telling you exactly what they have, what they may need in the future, not necessarily to give in and to always want to say, hey, can I get an extension every single time I have a paper, but just to say as a precaution, if something comes up, do I have your support to go forward and can you help?
Yeah.
So I really, really want that.
I love that. Now, I do, you know, hearing you say that makes me wonder, is there any legislation in place that could protect or even help students that come in with illnesses like lupus and, you know, once they get off into higher education?
Yes, they do have the Disability Act, and autoimmune disease is one of the categories, but sometimes it truly can depend on the professor on whether they want to give you an extension or not. It
Okay.
can also sometimes depend on how bad it is for you. If you are someone who doesn't have to go to the hospital every week, a professor may think, "Oh, I don't really think this is a requirement for you."
Right.
And with college, you have certain amount of attendance days that you miss
Right.
could possibly be dropped. So taking all of that into consideration, I'm still doing research myself to be sure I am fully prepared. But I do believe sometimes it can depend on the professor. So I'm hoping to get in
Wow.
contact with them really soon so they know way ahead of time coming in that there may be bad days for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's kind of messed up that it's completely at the I can't even think or talk today. It's really messed up that it's at the professor's discretion on whether or not they think you're sick enough, or if you don't, they think you don't look well enough to give you that extension. Um, And you know, I do want to say that this back and forth conversation here has really just inspired me to now, once I get off this show with you, I'm definitely going to go look into it. Now I want to know, are there policies or any legislation in place that can protect students that are coming in with any type of disease that may require and that there be a strict rubric that professors or instructors have to follow, and it's not just solely at their discretion. I am going to look into that now. So thank you. You've already inspired me a little bit now to to take a step ahead and do some work here. So I know we kind of got really deep into it. My thing looks dark. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got lupus is an autoimmune disease. I've watched some of your TikToks. I've even listened to your podcast, which we're definitely going to talk about. But lupus is an autoimmune disease. Tell me a little bit about the symptoms, because I have a friend that has lupus. I have another friend whose parent has experienced it, and I've also had another friend growing up that had lupus. So tell me a little bit just about what the symptoms are and, you know, what people can look for. I know you're not a doctor by all means, so you obviously can't provide medical advice, but just from your experience.
From my experience and what my doctor told me when I first diagnosed, every lupus patient is different. Some people may take the same medications, but in the end, every single person is completely different from somebody else. Lupus can affect multiple things, and it can also affect singular things. It can go from brain, joints, kidneys, lungs, skin, blood, and etc. As far as symptoms goes, you can receive fatigue, you can go through weight gain, you can go through weight loss. Insomnia is a huge symptom, and especially mental health. There's a huge increase as far as depression, anxiety, all of that included. You go through a lot because it is something that can be very traumatic on the body, and it can affect you in multiple ways.
Okay, so patches on face, like red patches, or if you're darker complexion, you may get maybe lighter patches. Is that also
yes? Butterfly rash. That is something common when you go out into the sunlight. It's very helpful to wear sunblock. Usually it is always required by everyone to, but not everybody will because it doesn't affect as much. But especially with lupus patients, butterfly rashes are possible. It can go from your nose all the way to the ends of your eyes, and you can receive patches. There's a celebrity, his name is Seal, and he happens to have that kind of lupus, which is CLE.
Okay. He has the type of lupus that's CLE. Do you know what that is? What does that stand for?
It's a word that I promise I cannot pronounce, I promise, but it really just affects the skin. There's SLE, which I can pronounce that one because it's not hard. Systematic lupus.
Okay.
And that more so affects organs. And with Selena Gomez, she has lupus nephritis, which specifically affects kidneys. CLE that affects the skin, sunlight, and it can sometimes it can be very extreme sometimes and require surgeries on the face to remove certain patches of skin that have been really affected.
Wow. Okay, so just similar to cancer, it can focus on one area or one organ. Okay, and if you don't mind me asking, what kind of lupus exactly are you experiencing?
I experience CLE, and mine affects my lungs, so it's sometimes very, very hard for me to catch my breath. And it can be very hard, especially when you have really bad anxiety. So catching up really bad. I also have a lot of joint problems, especially in my back and in my knees. So getting out of bed, that alone can cause a lot of problems with my legs. So there's a medication that most lupus patients take, which is Plaquenil. And that more so stops or has a less effect when you have a flare. So it tries to limit it as much as it can, but sometimes you require other medications.
Wow. And so when you say you have a lot of issues with your back and your knees, is it pain or is it like weakness, or what exactly is that?
It's inflammation.
Okay.
But lupus more so, it's inflamed. So for me, getting up, I'll feel like a huge it's painful, but it's more so a lot of heat pressure. So that's mostly what I experience.
Okay. That makes sense. And then like I said, everyone that I can think of that's had lupus was Black. I know 2 women and it was a man. So this is obviously not uncommon in the Black community? Why do you think that we don't hear or don't have a lot of discussions about lupus in our community?
Oh, I remember that. I spoke about it a little bit on the podcast. I mentioned how I feel that we doctors, because we are people of color, especially women, we are supposed to take in pain. We are presented as strong Black women that don't have any problems. And when we do, we can take everything that comes to us because we are very strong. So even in a doctor's perspective, they will see us as strong. And if we say that our pain is very high, they will think, I think you're maybe exaggerating just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so as far as with lupus, it's easy to get misdiagnosed, and it's easy for doctors to miss it because of people of color, especially women. And due to that, I believe that's why it's not mentioned a lot in the Black community. Because even Toni Braxton has it, but you don't hear it quite as often, even though she performs very often. So that would be my response.
I think you made a very good point. They don't take us seriously because they believe that we don't feel pain, and if we do, that is at a very low, on a very low scale of intensity. And I think you're spot on. That's why they do miss it. That's why they do ignore it, and that's why it's important for you and I to have these conversations and share platforms to bring awareness to diseases like lupus. And you know what? I think I did hear a little bit about Toni Braxton. I did see that. I also saw that in your TikTok too. Those are really good, by the way. You do really good with these TikToks. Like I'm learning a lot. I was like, oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know anything about Selena Gomez. I don't follow her, but I did know a little bit about Toni Braxton, and I didn't know about Seal. So I did want to ask you. Let's talk a little bit about your podcast. And so I want to let you know I listened to the intro, and I listened to another one that I want to talk about. And I loved I think it's like the intro episode that you said, I want this to be like glitter to get everywhere and on everybody. You know, how did you come up with that?
I love speaking, and I think I truly have a passion for going more into public speaking, which I'm very thankful to be on the show today. I just feel that, honestly, the inspiration came from middle school. That is where it really struck out. I was a vice president in middle school in 8th grade, and I went into high school, and I would say junior year, a girl reached out to me. She was like, hey, did you go to this middle school? And I was like, yeah. She was like, you were a really good speaker when you did your speech on voting. And I was like, wait, 3 years later, and you still remember this, and you still remember who I am. And from there, we just continue to talk. She always asked me questions because she was an 8th grader going into high school.
Right.
I just thought I would want to put this out here, and if somebody needs to listen in a moment of vulnerability and in a moment of feeling alone, this is out here. It found you. So listen up. And that's why I decided to continue it.
I love that. I think, and this has, I just want to be sure I let you guys know, this has absolutely nothing to do with lupus, follow-up. But I believe, and it's I want to say it right, because I was looking and switching so fast. Mending the Heart. I think that's the name of the episode. And you said something that I really related to, that you said it was about a breakup. And you were going through the stages, and I think you said in the first stage or early stages, it's confusion, and you just want answers to a lot of questions. And I was like, damn, I know something about that. I know what she means. I was like, yo, this is really good. I like this. You know, and talk about, I don't know if you had started taking requests for topics at that point, but when you did that episode, was that a topic that was sent in to you by your viewers?
No, I was going through a really bad breakup.
Okay, you did say that. Right, you did say that.
And from that, when I'm upset, I put myself in a work. So I make art out of whatever pain I am feeling in that moment. And so the first episode that I did when I was going through all of that was about a friend. And the next day, that's when I had a breakup. And from there, I was like, well, you know what? Let's put this out here. Let's talk about it, because I know somebody has experienced this in some form or shape or way.
I did.
So that was the inspiration. But I do take a lot of topic requests.
I love that. And first things first, I rarely ever get guests as young as you. Rarely ever. They're typically my age, maybe a little older, somewhere up there. But how old exactly are you, Maya?
I'm 18.
You're 18. Wow, you are officially the youngest guest I've ever had on Let's Talk the Show.
Oh, cool.
Right? You are the youngest guest. And I'm really grateful I got to sit down with you. I really am. Like, this episode is not over, but at this very moment, I'm just feeling grateful to have you on here. So I want to make sure that I live in the moment and I put that out there. So I'm grateful to have had you on here. You're doing, like, my mind was not on this at 18. I don't know where my mind was at 18. It wasn't this, right? But you are so motivated. You're so ambitious. You've already, kind of got into your lane of what you want to be, or you kind of got on the path, even if it's not exactly the same endpoint. It's so easy to see that you have a vision of what you want your life to look like, or what you want to be, or who you want to be in the future. And it's like, how did you become so driven? Where does this come from?
It came from when I couldn't dance. I knew that I was going to have to find something else that I love to do. And I used to write a lot. I was more into songwriting. And from there, I kind of stopped doing it. So I decided to continue writing. And when the theater program didn't work out for me, I went to writing and I got published by Love Girls Magazine. And I decided that I wanted to keep that going. And from there, I just said that I never want to be just something. I didn't want to be just a writer. I didn't want to be just a public speaker. I didn't want to be just a dancer. I wanted to always be something more than that, so I could always have something to fall back on if something didn't work out. And I love doing it. I'm always adding new things. I have friends that'll say, you're doing something else? You were just doing this. Now you're going to, okay, go for it. Because they know that I'm never going to stop. No matter if my body tells me to, I'll take breaks, but I'm always going to come back.
I love that. I love that. I love the idea of never just being one thing, and the idea of reinventing yourself and following whatever passion it is or whatever makes you happy right now. I think that is a beautiful thing. I think that a lot of, and I'm saying people my age because we're almost at like a 10-year age gap right here. That's how I just want people to understand. I'm 27, you're 18. We're literally almost 10 years apart. And I think your mindset, the things that you are saying, are people my age are still trying to figure out that it's okay to say, you know what, I want to do this now, and not allow that fear of judgment from their peers or their family members to deter them from doing something or following their passion. So I admire that. I hope that you never lose it. What else? Oh my goodness, this is so good. It's just like, I just love it. It is so good. You do speak really well. You speak really well. So that whoever girl it was, she didn't lie. I can imagine you in like 8th grade. Like, you do this really well. This is so nice. I love this.
This is a whole conversation. We're just friends. We're friends now.
I know, right? This is how it goes. And you know what? I'm glad this feels like a conversation, because just like you want yours to be glitter, I want to have, just normal conversations with people on camera. You want yours glittering everywhere, and I just want to have conversations with people I've never met before on camera and make them feel like, yo, we're friends, we're good now. And I'm happy that I've got that with you. And so I do want to ask, what is something that you would like for everyone to know about lupus?
I would want everyone to know that lupus doesn't define a person. There have been a lot of moments with some teachers where all they think of me is someone who will give excuses, someone who will never have energy, someone who will not go very far because of an illness that she has or he has. So just know that lupus does not define a person. It does not mean that you cannot do whatever you want. You may have to do it in a creative way because it's something that you do have, but it's not impossible to do whatever it is that you want to do.
I love that. I love that. And it's so, I'm sitting here listening to you talking. I'm like, well, I'm happy. Have you done any other interviews, or is this like one of your first ones?
This is my first one.
Hey. So not only that, I'm super happy that I get to interview you, because when you go on to get bigger and grow on in your career, I get to say, well, guess who did our first interview? Me. I did it. So I'm super excited to have done your first interview. So, and I hate to be just the way that my family deals with death is not something that we're not familiar with. And I hate to make it sound so common, but it is pretty common. And it's not something that we feel. We just have to address it consistently, unfortunately. And I think that with lupus, it can be fatal. If you were to leave tomorrow because of some lupus complications, what do you want your legacy to be at this very point?
Whoa, that's a good question. It hit me to my core. Wow, I haven't thought about that. I would.
Or what do you? Okay, so you're only 18. You can't really have that long of a legacy. What would you like to be remembered as then?
The girl who tried. I always want to try something, and I have people all around me. Bad energy always. Are you sure you can do this? Do you think you can do this? I thought you didn't want to do it. And with all that bad energy sometimes being around, you start to think, well, why go for it? Why try? But I never let it stop me from wanting to try something. There was a point when during the podcast, I didn't want to do it anymore because I felt like I wasn't getting enough attention for it, or I felt I wasn't getting enough support. And for a moment, I did stop and I said, this was not my goal when I first started to be everywhere. My goal was to relate to somebody who really needs me to, who really needs that moment of security and friendship. And so from that, I just always be remembered as the girl who tried. So.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, so then we're going to fast forward. Let's fast forward 20 years. What would you want your legacy to be in 20 years?
Ooh, I need to be a bestseller. I need to have at least been in one movie.
Okay.
I need, let's see. I really want to raise, my goal in 20 years is to at least have raised $500,000 for the Lupus Foundation of America. It's something that I really want to do. And I'm currently in the works of creating a store that I'm really excited about. So really bringing in money for something that I'm so passionate about is a huge thing for me. And I think I really want to start a scholarship foundation specifically for lupus and do it in my hometown in Memphis. So those that have lupus send in an essay and they will receive something, whether it's small or big. Any person who sends in an application will have something forwarded to them that can help them through college.
Ooh. I love that. I love that. Big or small, I love that. I can't wait. Again, I'm always thinking ahead. I can't wait for. I'm not even gonna give it 20 years. I'm gonna give it 10 years. When you're much further in 10 years, and you have it, and I can be like, look what she said she wanted to do in 20 years, guys. But look what she did in 10. So I can't wait because having videos of things that you said that you want to accomplish, especially when you're adamant about them, you're persistent in their goals, they typically come to pass. So in 10 years, I don't know if you'll remember this, but maybe if you do, you can look back and say, yo, I did some of that. You might be halfway through your goal, your $500,000 goal for the Lupus Foundation. And so let's see. I have one more other question. Dang, I'm drawing blank. I can't even remember. That is so terrible, guys. I hate that. Okay, so we'll scratch it, whatever. What else do you want people to know about lupus? This is, I don't have lupus. I'd probably be like an asthma advocate or something, maybe a breastfeeding advocate. But I'm always an advocate for anything that's for us and to help us. What do you have to say to people? What do you want people to know? This is your opportunity to tell whoever, whatever you want them to know about lupus. So this is your stage. Go ahead.
My biggest thing is whether the symptom is big or small, always make it a big deal. There are family members that I've known from the support group that have told me that because their symptoms aren't that bad, their family doesn't seem to care much about it because they don't have to go to the hospital. And it really makes me sad. Whether the symptom is big or small, whether they are fatigued and that's it, take it as a big deal and be there to support them. So I love that.
I love that. I love that. You're getting so much love in the comments. You're going to do all you plan to do. You plan for lupus and so much more. You're amazing. You're getting so much love. This is so nice. I'm so excited to sit here and be able to to witness this. Let's see here. Okay, can you see me there?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say it froze up a little bit there. I'm really honored to sit down with you and to meet someone that's so driven so early on, and so ambitious. I think that you're doing an amazing job on TikTok. I watched them; they're good. I learned 2 or 3 things or so. I admire your courage because I felt I had asthma a little bit, but I don't feel like asthma was that bad. I was like, I might be able to do a little something. It ain't gonna kill me, I'll finesse my way through it. So it wasn't that bad for me, but I know it was a lot worse for other people, and I couldn't imagine experiencing that. What do you have? I think that sometimes we ask questions about things that are just simply character traits. Some people are just resilient. They just not giving up. They don't care what, they're just not giving up. But what about for the people that may not be as resilient? What can you say to that person that is experiencing maybe more frequent and severe symptoms from lupus?
Take every day as an accomplishment. Just waking up is hard. In the world we live in, it is hard being here sometimes. Getting out of bed, huge accomplishment, because you decided, I'm gonna go take a step. Whether it's making breakfast for yourself, I'm putting myself in a position to where I'm thinking about my health by eating something. That alone is a huge accomplishment because it is something that some people will struggle with. Getting out of bed, some people truly cannot get out of bed and they need help just to. So taking every day as an accomplishment, big or small, it's an accomplishment, and be able to celebrate that.
I love that. I love that. Big or small, stay present. I love that. I still can remember that question. That's blowing my mind. And I feel like it was a really good question. That hurts my heart when I feel like I had a great question asked and I can't remember it. Whatever. That's what I get for not writing things down, but who cares? I don't know. Honestly, I really feel like I want to just lend you my show in this moment so that you can tell them everything. It's like I don't know how many more questions I can ask. I really just want whatever. Is there anything else you have on your chest? Because I don't really want to ask you no more questions. Not that I don't have any.
I love this. I wouldn't. You got everything. You got questions I never thought about. That one that hit me to my core about legacy. I was like, whoa, I didn't think that far. This was amazing. I don't have anything.
Okay. So I lied. So not that I lied, but it came back. So my question is, what would you say, what would today Maya say to the Maya that first got diagnosed?
Man. I wrote about that one. I would tell her it will get better. It will. You'll have your bad days. They're going to be bad, but it'll get better. And no matter whether it's a bad day, learn something from it. Because I really did. When I was having really bad flare-ups, I started to write them down. And when I went into the doctor, I could tell them exactly what was wrong. When I did too, taking photos, hey, I had this come up, I just want to let you know. So whether it's a bad day or a good day, really just learn from it. And it will get better. I'm here now. We're doing it. It'll get better.
I love that. And so then the flip side is, what will today Maya say to Maya in 10 years?
Man, you still better be awesome. You better still be doing stuff and never lose focus of why you decided that you wanted to put yourself out into the world. And remember this moment of vulnerability and learn where you grew up from. Learn that you grew to this and never lose sight of it. Yep.
I love that. I love that. And honestly, I don't know a better way to wrap up an episode than that. That's fire. I just love it, y'all. I just love it. I am so happy. I'm a big person. If I really like something or if I really hate something, I'm going to constantly keep saying it. I got to keep saying it. So I just got to keep telling you that I'm so grateful to have sat down with you today and to be the first person to do an interview with, for you to do an interview with. I can't wait in 10 years when you go on to do amazing things to sit back and look at this interview. Maybe in 10 years we can redo this and talk to 10-year Maya and say, what would she say to this Maya? I like that, right? So maybe we'll do that. In 10 years, I'll find you and we can do a look back. Like, what would you say to this, Maya?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is dope. Now I'm excited for 10 years to hurry up and go. Okay, let's see. You got some love in the comments. You better be awesome. You will be. Those who support you that are around will make sure you're still awesome. I love it. I'm just here for all the love and support. Great question. Thank you. Thank you. And is there anything else that you want to say, Maya?
Thank you for those that came in.
Hey.
I really appreciate it. She is amazing. Go watch her previous.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let's see. I think it froze there. Okay. Can you see me now?
Back?
Yeah. Okay. Now we're back. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Yes. I was saying, go watch her previous episodes. She is amazing. Watch her continue to grow because she's gonna go far. Watch her be the #1 on Spotify. Go for it. And yeah, y'all support her, blow her up. Go follow, like, share, do everything. You're awesome. I love this.
Thank you.
This was awesome. I love this.
Thank you. I'm so glad you had a good time. And let's see here. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can listen to your show.
You can find my Instagram at The Real Maya Jones. My Lupus Advocate page is the same username at The Real Maya Jones. And you can find me located for my podcast. It is entitled Talks with MJ on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts.
Absolutely. And just for the record, you guys can click the link in her bio and it will take you straight there. And then let me see. My name is Cherrell Carter, you guys. You can find me at Cherrell Carter in my government on Facebook, or you can find me at Miss Carter_1X on all social media platforms. Make sure you guys are also following Let's Talk the Show. You're already on my Instagram. Make sure you click that link in my bio to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us on Pinterest, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, you name it, we got it. And Maya, you got to go out the same way you came in. You got to give us something that you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for meeting you today. It's lovely to meet you, and I'm very thankful.
Of course. I'm going to go out the same way I came in. I am likewise. That's my grateful. I'm grateful to have met you, to be inspired by you, to say that I know an amazing young girl, because you're going to go far. I can just hear it. I can feel it, and I can see it. And I'm so excited for you. Yeah, and that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to have met Maya today, you guys. And I think that's about it, you guys. You guys know my name is Cherrell Carter. I'm the host of Let's Talk, and I will see you guys this Thursday. It was nice meeting you, Maya. Bye, everyone.
Bye.